Hey, good morning everyone. So I have not done a live video on YouTube in a very long time. I've kind of been hanging out over on TikTok, so if you are a TikTok fan, be sure to follow me over there. I do little short videos for alterations, embroidery, quilting, all those things. So I just thought I should probably do one turned correctly for YouTube. So if you are watching, I'm Katie Bertrand. I am the owner of So Cute by Katie, an alteration and embroidery gift shop here in Louisville, Kentucky. Last year we also started doing long arm quilting. So this is a little Christmas quilt that I have put together, and I've had the top done. I'm like, I really gotta get this, quilted. I do sell the quilts, so this is some fun little snowman prints, whatnot, and the pattern I used from Fabric Cafe 3-Year Quilts, one of their books, and I honestly don't remember which book it was, but I love all of their quilting books. So I just thought I'd show you the little process of loading the quilts on the long arm, and then I have the computerized version of the long arm because I am terrible at free motion quilting. So if you do free motion quilting, I applaud you, because it is an art. Like, it looks really easy, but it's not. So I am much more prone to using the computer. So anyway, I'm just going to show you the process of loading the quilt. And I actually do a lot of t-shirt quilts for the shop, but we like to back ours with polar fleece, so they're a nice snuggy throw blanket. And then a lot of times we have to piece together the polar fleece, so we've got large scraps, so I like to use my scraps for other quilting projects. So this is the perfect scrap size, and I like to put them on the back of quilts. I just think it makes it a little bit more cozy. And so if you are using polar fleece, you don't necessarily have to use batting. You can if you want to. I don't always. It's still like the perfect weight for a quilt, and I really enjoy using it. So first thing I'm going to do is fold my material in half and put a pin, because on my long arm, so these little parts right here are called the leaders, and I'm going to use my red snappers and clip the fleece to this, but there is a mark about like a little marker of Sharpie, and that marks my center here and on the other side. So I put a little pin so I know where the center of my fabric is. So let me grab the snappers here. Now normally if you do not have the red snappers, you would use safety pins, but these, see how there's like little tubing inside the leaders, and these will just snap right on and hold the fabric. So it's a little bit easier than doing all the pins. Oops, sorry, trying to get that message off there. So I'm going to start with that. Now there are two bars. The top bar is for our quilt top, so I'm going under that bar. And I'm just going to grab another pin. Just to hold this in place at the extra hand. And we'll start snapping this together. It is kind of funny to start doing working on Christmas stuff, and we're just days away from Halloween. That's why I got my Halloween sweatshirt on. And I do want to tell a little story about my sweatshirt, because this sweatshirt is probably 30 years old, but my dad made it. I want to show you real quick. You know, it's a little worn, but do you remember when puff paint was popular? My dad would take coloring books. He's very good at freehand drawing, but he would get patterns, ideas out of, from coloring books or whatnot. So this is old school applique, where you put the Wonder Under on, iron it on, and then use the puff paint instead of sewing it on. So being that I only wear this once or twice a year, it has lasted a very long time. And my dad has since passed away, so it's even more fun to dig it out and just kind of remember that he made it for us. Made a bunch of them. Okay, so there's one side. And now I'm mark my center and go on the other side. And there's 2 bars on the other side. I'm going under the bottom bar, because bottom bar, that just puts helps hold it taut and put some pressure on it. So I'm going to just move you a little bit closer, because I'm going on the other side. And then I've got a Sharpie mark for the center on the back side as well. So that helps you make sure that it's straight and lined up and not being put on here cockeyed. And the fleece is a little bit thicker, so it is a little bit harder to snap on. That's when I realize I'm probably getting arthritis in my hands. Okay, so now it's on, and I'm going to roll the bottom bar right here, just with my hands. Let me back you up a little bit. Okay, so as I roll, I'm smoothing out the fabric also from side to side, just to make sure it's not getting drawn in and that there's no wrinkles. And we're just going to roll it up. Also pick off some of these little threads that have jumped on here. I love polar fleece, but everything wants to stick to it. Okay, I'm not going to get it too tight right now. So now I've got my quilt top, and I'll fold it in half to find the center. And you only have to put it on the bottom bar. There's not a top bar from that, so. And I'll put my pin. And now we are going to attach this to the top bar the exact same way. And I like to kind of just, and this is a nice throw blanket. This one's a little bit more manageable right now. But drape it over. And I think I just lost my pin when I did that. I sure did. Oh, there it is too. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that right there for a minute, and then I'll grab my other snappers. Now, when you are putting a quilt on, you need to make sure that the back portion is bigger, and it's usually, I think, 4 inches all the way around, top, bottom, side to side, so that you can do an edge to edge. So the bottom is going to be wider. I'm going to reach over here and just kind of straighten this out, and then I'm going to roll this up. Drop this down. And I'm in the same process as I roll, just smooth it out, make sure there's, also when you're putting these on, sometimes occasionally you might see that there's a hole or something if something didn't get stitched, so it's a good opportunity to find those just in case if it got pulled or not sewn deep enough. Roll this up. Now, I'm going to tighten up my bottom part and lock it in. Pull this a little bit. Now this bar they all come out, but you raise it up. So if I were using some batting, once I got this, rolled up where I wanted it, this is when I would get my batting out and slip it in here, smooth it out, and sandwich it in between. But because I'm using the polar fleece and I just want it to be a lighter blanket, just more snuggly kind of thing, I'm probably not going to do that. So I haven't quite decided, but I just wanted to show you how I load the quilts. So I'm going to check, I'm going to figure out what pattern I'm going to use. So I may or may not add batting, but it's totally optional. It's up to you. So the next part of the process is going to the computer here. I'm going to turn you around here, pull this up. But then I need to find a pattern. And this is probably the hardest part because there are a lot of patterns loaded into the machine. I have a Handy Quilter Forte with the Pro Stitcher, and it comes with a lot of patterns already loaded into it. So there's a lot of options. So then you just get overwhelmed looking at design. So this, for me, sometimes I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? But let's see. It's not wanting to open for me. Oh, I hit it too many times. So, of course, because I'm trying to show you, it's going to want to close and restart. Let's see if it'll wait. It never fails. Always computer difficulties. Ah, here we go. So, I'm going to look for one I saw. Let me see. Oops. Of course, now it wants to not respond here. Let me see. Trying to find something that kind of had a Christmas theme, and I know there's one snowmen or light bulbs or something I'm going to look for. Let's see. Oh, this one has Christmas trees. Maybe we'll do that one. Oh, Christmas lights. I think it's this one. So now I'm going to open this design. And sometimes this thing wants to open right away, and sometimes it must just be having a hard day today. All right, so got my Christmas lights. You don't see that, I know that's really light, but there's the Christmas light pattern. So next thing I will do is we have to tell it where to go. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. And we will come over to the computer. Let me do that. So I'm going to draw out the area and then we will place our design inside of that area. So I'm gonna hit our area button, and I'm gonna tell it to corner. Oh, I didn't wanna do that, whoops. I wasn't ready yet, I was talking. Okay, so I'm gonna put it where I want it, the first edge, and I'm gonna hit to corner, and then I will slide all the way to the other side. And hit my 2 corner again. And then I'm gonna come back down here so you can see a little bit. Bring you a little closer. You can see on my screen. So then I have a height button, and I've already measured it, and it's 53 inches. Then it's gonna create this box for me. And then I will go to modify, align, left, top. So it puts those Christmas lights right in the thing. Then I want to check the size, because I may want to make it a little bigger. Right now it's almost 8.5, which I'm going to leave it at that. And then then we need to do our repeats. So we need to fill the box. I could hit fill. Whoops. But it's too far apart, so I'm going to hit undo. I don't want to do it like that. So horizontal, I'll hit the plus and go across the quilt. And I'm pretty close, so I'm going to hit the stretch button, and that will fill that in. And then I'll go over to vertical, and then I'll hit the plus button. Okay, now this particular design, I've got these gaps, and I do not want that. So let's see if we can minimize that and bring those closer. And it's still going to have some gaps there, even though I have tried to fill it in. So that is going to be something you will have to determine if that's okay for your design or not. I'm not sure I love that, because you can definitely see where the rows are. So let me get that in there. It's filled it in some, so it has minimalized it. It may not be that big of a deal, but it just is personal preference. So if I do decide that I want to stick with this, I'll hit baseline, and then I'm ready to stitch. So I just wanted to share this whole process with you. I'm going to get going on this, and then we'll have it ready. And if you follow me on Facebook or TikTok, you'll probably see the finished product, and we'll have it for sale soon on our website, on our Etsy shop. So if you have any questions about doing long arm quilting or the Handy Quilter Forte, I don't know if I can answer every question, but I'll be glad to try. Or if you have any tips for me, because I've only been doing this about a year, I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon. I'm going to get back to quilting.